Hey everyone, welcome to the Bold and the Beautiful. I'm Oma, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful update, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. You ever have one of those days where the truth feels heavier than anything you've ever carried? That was me. Standing in a room full of people who all wanted the same thing, answers. A scared young man praying he's not a father. A girl convinced she's finally getting the love she deserves. And me, the doctor holding a piece of paper that could destroy everything. When I looked down at those results, my hands were shaking so bad I could barely breathe. Because in that moment, I knew nothing would ever be the same again. One test. One truth. And a secret that would tear two families apart before the day was over. My name's Bridget, and this is the story of the day I had to deliver a truth that broke everyone's heart. Bridget administers a life-changing paternity test, and Taylor extends an olive branch to Brooke. My hands were shaking that morning, and that's saying something, because I've delivered babies in emergency rooms, done surgeries on impossible timelines, and watched hearts stop and start again right in front of me. But none of that compared to the way my heart raced when my mother, Brooke, opened the door and said softly, "Bridget, thank you for coming." It wasn't just another day at the hospital. It wasn't even another complicated family emergency. And with my family, that's saying a lot. This was something that would tear open old wounds, test loyalties, and maybe, just maybe, start to heal something too. When I walked into Mom's living room, Ridge was pacing like a caged tiger. His jaw was tight, arms crossed, that famous Forrester intensity burning behind his eyes. He looked up at me and gave a small nod. "Bridget, I'm glad you're the one handling this. We need this done right." "I'll handle it," I told him, keeping my voice steady, though inside I was anything but calm. "We'll know the truth soon." Mom put a hand on my arm, her eyes full of quiet worry. "Just be careful, honey. Luna's unpredictable." I nodded. I'd heard all about Luna Nozawa, her manipulations, her supposed pregnancy, her tangled history with Finn, and now her connection to Will. I knew what this test meant. It wasn't just about DNA, it was about guilt, forgiveness, and the future of two families. As I left Mom's house, Ridge muttered something under his breath about Bill Spencer. If he hadn't let this happen. "Ridge," Mom interrupted, sighing. "Let's not start this again." He turned to her, frustration etched across his face. "She hurt our family, Brooke. She almost destroyed your sister's son's life. Someone needs to take responsibility." "Someone will," I said quietly, stepping toward the door. That's what today's about. By the time I reached Bill's house, the tension was thick enough to cut with a scalpel. Bill was standing near the bar, arms folded, the sunlight from the window catching the silver in his hair. Katie sat on the couch, calm but clearly on edge, while Luna lounged by the pool door like she was waiting for a fashion shoot to begin. "Ah," Bill said when I walked in. The voice of science and reason. "Bridget, thanks for doing this." Katie gave me a small smile. "My niece, Dr. Bridget Forrester, she'll be administering the test." Luna's expression shifted, just for a second, when she heard my name. "Wait. You're the doctor who saved me, right? When I got shot." I nodded. "Yes. I was told by Lee that you didn't make it." Luna smiled, almost sweetly, but her tone carried a strange confidence. "Well, looks like I did. And now I'm bringing a new life into the world. A Spencer baby." I didn't respond. I just opened my kit, laying out the instruments, cotton swabs, vials, needles, everything neat and sterile. My motions were automatic, but my mind was racing. The energy in the room was electric, dangerous. You could almost hear the unspoken thoughts bouncing between everyone. Bill crossed his arms. "Feel free to make that needle hurt a little, document. She's earned it." Katie shot him a look, but didn't disagree. "Let's just get this done." Luna rolled her eyes, leaning back in her chair. Relax. I'm not scared of a needle. I've got nothing to hide. That was when the door opened, and Will and Electra walked in. The moment Will saw Luna, his face paled. Electra's hand tightened around his. Her voice trembled when she spoke. She's lying, Will. She's trying to trap you. Luna gave a half smile. Trap him? Sweetheart, he didn't seem trapped that night. Enough. Bill snapped. His voice boomed across the room, silencing everyone. Bridget, do it. End this circus. I took a deep breath, focusing on the medical task at hand. Luna, we'll start with you. As I swabbed her arm, I noticed the faintest tremor in her hand. Confidence was her armor, but even she couldn't completely mask her nerves. The needle slid into her skin, drawing a small vial of blood. She stared at me the whole time, her dark eyes unreadable. Done, I said softly, labeling the sample. Will, your turn. Will sat down beside her, jaw clenched tight. He didn't say a word as I swabbed his cheek for DNA, but when I glanced at him, I could see the turmoil in his eyes. Fear, guilt, confusion. Electra stood behind him, arms folded, trying to hold herself together. Bill paced. Katie sat on the edge of the couch, her eyes darting between all of us like she was watching a slow-motion car crash. The tension was unbearable. When I finally sealed the samples, I exhaled. All done. The results won't take long. Katie nodded, trying to fill the silence. Thank you, Bridget. Luna smirked again. I told you. I don't need tricks this time. It's Will's baby. He knows it. Will snapped, his voice breaking for the first time. Luna, stop. Whatever happened that night, it was a mistake. I was drunk, confused, and you. She interrupted with a smirk. And I was irresistible. Electra's voice trembled with rage. You used him. You knew he wasn't in his right mind. Used him. Luna's tone turned venomous. You think I planned this? That I wanted to get shot, nearly die, then find out I'm pregnant? Please. I didn't ask for this. But it happened. And it's real. Bill slammed a fist on the counter. You've caused enough damage, Luna. When this test proves you're lying, you're going back to jail where you belong. Luna stood, chin high. Then I guess you better hope your son isn't the father. Because if he is, she leaned closer to Bill, your precious Spencer legacy just got a little more complicated. When I left Bill's house, my hands were still shaking. I'd drawn blood from hundreds of patients before, but never under circumstances like this. Never when the results could shatter or save so many lives. I drove straight to the lab, barely noticing the traffic lights or the hum of the city around me. As the machines began processing the samples, I sat alone in the sterile room, staring at the tubes that held the truth. And that's when the weight of it all hit me. This wasn't just about Will and Luna. It was about my family, too. About the cycle of betrayal and forgiveness that seemed to define us all. Brooke and Ridge, Taylor and Finn, Bill and Katie. All of them entangled in the same web of mistakes, love, and second chances. I leaned back, rubbing my temples. Part of me wanted to run from all of it, to escape the drama, the accusations, the pain. But another part, the doctor in me, the daughter in me, knew I had a duty. The truth mattered. It always did. A soft knock on the door pulled me from my thoughts. It was Taylor. Hey, she said gently. Mind if I come in? I nodded. She closed the door behind her and sat across from me. Ridge told me you were running the test. Yeah, I sighed. It's almost done. Taylor smiled faintly. You're doing good work, Bridget. I know how hard this must be. For all of us. I met her eyes, searching for any trace of the old rivalry between her and my mom, but instead, I saw something different, genuine empathy. Taylor, I said quietly. Thank you. She nodded. Brooke and I. We've been through enough. It's time we stop fighting and start healing. It was such a small moment, but in that sterile lab, surrounded by machines humming softly, It felt monumental. Maybe it was the first olive branch extended in decades. The results and the fallout. The machine's soft hum was the only sound in the lab, and yet it felt deafening. I stared at the printout in my trembling hands, the truth blurring through the tears that had suddenly filled my eyes. I didn't even realize I was holding my breath until Taylor touched my arm gently and said, "Bridget, what does it say?" For a moment, I couldn't speak. I felt like my throat had closed up. I'd done hundreds of paternity tests before, but this one felt personal. Like a knife had been quietly sliding into everyone I loved. Finally, I whispered, "It's Will. He's the father." Taylor froze. Her lips parted slightly, her expression softening into a mix of shock and pity. "Oh no," she breathed. "Poor Will. And Electra." I sank into the chair behind me, the paper crumpling slightly in my grip. "He's just a kid, Taylor. He's trying to find himself, trying to build something good, and now this." Taylor sighed, folding her hands in her lap. "He made a mistake. But now he's going to have to live with it." I looked at her, trying to keep my voice steady. "Do I tell them now? Or should Bill be here?" She hesitated, then met my eyes with quiet strength. "You're a doctor, Bridget. But you're also family. Tell them as gently as you can." I nodded, gathering the papers and taking one more deep breath before standing. My legs felt like lead, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it echoing in my ears. When I walked back into Bill's house, the entire room went silent. Everyone could read the truth in my face before I even opened my mouth. Will stood from the couch, eyes wide and desperate. Electra clutched his arm, her face pale. Luna, though, was calm. Too calm. That smug confidence was back, glinting like glass. "Bridget," Bill said, his tone sharp. "Tell us." I looked at each of them, my throat tightening. "The results are in." My voice cracked slightly. "The test confirms. Will is the father." Katie gasped. Her hand flew to her mouth, tears instantly filling her eyes. "Oh God," she whispered. Bill blinked, his expression unreadable. "That can't be right. Run it again." I shook my head. "I already double-checked it. There's no mistake." For a long, suspended moment, no one spoke. It felt like time itself had frozen in that room. Then the storm hit. Electra backed away from Will, her face twisting with betrayal. "You told me," her voice broke. "You told me it might not be yours." Will's voice trembled as he stepped toward her. I hoped it wasn't. I swear, Electra, I didn't mean for this to happen. It was one night. I was drinking." "Don't," she said, shaking her head as tears streamed down her face. "Don't make excuses. You told me you loved me." "I do," Will shouted, his voice breaking. "I do, but Luna." "Don't say my name like I'm the problem," Luna interrupted, her tone calm but icy. "You made your choice that night, Will. Now you're going to live with it." Bill turned to her, fury blazing in his eyes. "You think this is something to gloat about? You've destroyed my son's life." Luna met his glare with a defiant smirk. "Destroyed it? Or changed it? Maybe he needed a wake-up call. Maybe this will make him grow up." Katie stood, trembling. "You don't get to justify this, Luna. You lied, you manipulated everyone, and now you're bringing a child into this mess." Luna's voice cracked slightly as she shot back. "I didn't plan this, Katie. You all act like I'm some monster. I was hurt, I was lost, and Will was there. He cared." "Cared?" Electra whispered, her voice filled with raw pain. "He pitied you, Luna. There's a difference." Will flinched, his face pale. "That's not true." But the words died in his throat. He couldn't even finish the sentence. Bill walked over to the bar and poured himself a drink with shaking hands. He didn't even look at anyone as he said, "Ridge was right. You should have been in jail the second you woke up in that hospital." I stepped forward. Bill, please. No, Bridget, he said sharply. You don't get it. My son's life is ruined. My family's being dragged into another scandal because of her. Stop, I said quietly, my voice trembling but firm. That baby didn't ask to be born into this. You can be angry, but don't take it out on the child. Luna's eyes flickered, the faintest hint of vulnerability showing for the first time. Thank you, she said softly. I didn't answer. Electra grabbed her purse and backed toward the door, wiping her tears. I can't do this. Not right now. Will, don't follow me. He did anyway. Electra, please. She turned, voice shaking. You lied to me. You said you wanted a future with me. How can I trust anything you say now? I'll fix this, he said, tears streaming down his cheeks. Please just. She shook her head. You can't fix this. And then she left. The sound of the door closing was like a gunshot. The house fell silent again. Luna was staring at the floor now, her confidence finally cracking. Will collapsed onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. Katie sat beside him, rubbing his back, whispering something soft that sounded like, "We'll figure this out." I watched it all from across the room, my heart heavy. I wanted to fix it for all of them. But sometimes the truth doesn't fix things. It just forces everyone to face who they really are. That's when my phone rang. It was Ridge. Bridget. His voice came through, taut with tension. Do you have the results? Yes, I said quietly. It's Will. There was silence. Then I heard Brooke's voice in the background, whispering, "Oh no." Taylor, who had been standing beside me the whole time, took a step closer. Tell them we'll come over, she said softly. It's time. When Taylor and I arrived at Mom's house, Ridge was pacing again, his hands pressed to his temples. Brooke was sitting on the sofa, tears in her eyes. The air was thick with unspoken emotions. Guilt, sadness, exhaustion. I told them everything. The room stayed still for a moment, then Ridge exhaled sharply and muttered, "That girl needs to go back to prison." Brooke looked up at him, her eyes red. "Ridge, she's pregnant." "So what?" he snapped. "She's still dangerous." Taylor intervened gently. "Ridge, stop. We can't make decisions out of anger. Not with a baby involved." He turned to her, his voice rising. "You're defending her? After everything she's done?" "I'm not defending her," Taylor said, her tone calm but firm. "I'm trying to stop you from making things worse." The two locked eyes, years of rivalry and pain flickering between them. But then, something changed. Ridge looked away, rubbing his face tiredly. "I'm just tired of all this." Brooke reached over, touching Taylor's hand softly. "So am I."